Hi, Afton. I wanted to leave you some feedback for your designs here. I'll start with, I feel like I should start with your slide draft since it shows your original ad actually. Um, I wanted to point out one of the things I noticed right off the bat is you added a stroke to everything. Strokes are actually always going to date your design when you have them on any shape or when you have them on writing, almost always usually. And so I would go ahead and go through, remove these green strokes on all your shapes and on your writing as well. I think campaign is spelled wrong too. It has a G in it, Baign. So be sure to run spell check on everything before you turn it in as well. So take those strokes off. That's instantly going to help your eye be able to flow because you're trapping all of this space. So this is a good amount of white space, but it's your eye gets trapped here and then it gets trapped going off the page as well. This is going to look way more modern if you just have the pink and the gray flowing into each other. Your color scheme is a little odd. Looks like you have a lot going on with this kind of deep maroonish color, the bright yellow, the bright pink, bright green, and a gray. I would probably simplify it to maybe the pink and the gray, and maybe the yellow, and then let your white come through or black. But since you have this neutral gray, I think that would look nice to kind of simplify it and let some of your images shine. The gray looks good because you're pulling it out of this image. And I like the pink because it's just highly saturated and interesting. So I'd probably get rid of one of these, either the yellow or the kind of backgroundy maroon color, and the green as well. So simplify the color scheme. When you are having writing on any kind of background shape, you always need to allow a buffer between where your writing ends and the edge of the shape ends. So make sure there's a good amount of space between the letters and the edge of the shape. See how your letters are setting right on the end of that shape? That's called a tangent and it creates some visual conflict. So you want to make sure your writing is well within it. Okay? Um, I really like this ad campaign. I've seen it before, so that's a good choice. I would, yeah, definitely get rid of these lines. It's just really, really choppy. Your shapes for these pull a quote, pull shapes are going to look way more interesting if they're just kind of smooth and not broken into the different elements. Okay. Apple Chancery is this typeface. I'm going to be honest, I really don't like it because it's one of those recurring default ones. If you could find something on default.com, I think that would really help elevate the design. It can be something kind of like this, but this one just gets used so much, it's instantly feeling a little like blah because of it. Okay. Watch your placement. See how this subheading is um, it's too high within the box. I would center it within this box, and so it's just in the middle here. Usually you say don't center, but it's already centered top, or it's already kind of centered right to left. I would center it top to bottom as well, so you don't have this big space down here and no space up here. And then it's a little off to the side, so you need to have the rule of alignment. Either they're going to start at this exact same vertical line, and maybe the T starts here and your writing starts here, or it's going to be centered within your gray box. You could play up contrast and decrease the font size of this as well. This doesn't need to yell at you. It could just kind of tell you what you need to convey. Watch consistency as well. Notice how you have the space here between your image and this writing, but on this one it's gone. It's almost right up against the edge of this. So I would keep it consistent. Make sure your text box is in the same place and that it's aligned with what's underneath it and that these are in the same place on every slide as well. That's really going to help your slide presentation feel consistent. I know you mentioned your last slide is not displaying on this, and so I would try a kind of weird workaround, add an extra slide, a blank one, to your slide presentation and then resave and see if that slide gets deleted. I'm not sure why that is happening, but since it is, that might be a workaround that would hopefully allow you to keep this within that page. Okay, so for this ad, I feel like you're heading the right direction. However, you don't have that cool effect of there being some kind of weird filter here and then this being crystal clear, which is really the whole heart of the ad is that when you look through these glasses, you see something clearly. Okay, so this looks too um, kind of fuzzy. I can't think of the word for the filter, but it almost looks like you're looking at it through a screen. See how it's kind of choppy with these square shapes? This is still like that even through the glasses. So you need to use some kind of Photoshop abilities that you possess to make that effect the same. Now, what I would have done probably is selected a super crisp piece of art, and then I would have selected around it and added a filter to the outside because it's always easy to add a filter. It's hard to take away something that isn't crystal clear in the first place. Okay, so if you do that, that's probably the best route to go is select a crystal clear, really cool art piece and then add the filter to the outside space so you can leave it crystal clear and cool in the middle. Okay, like this. Cool effect there. And I like how this is on a wall. I would probably decrease the size of this. And so this art is hung on a wall because it's a little confusing. I wouldn't actually know that this was framed on a wall if I hadn't seen this before. Okay. Um, your logo, this looks like a kind of low resolution. And do you know what? Actually, you took a picture of this on your phone. So I can't, maybe this kind of weird hash that's happening doesn't actually exist on your ad. But hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Maybe it doesn't have this weird looking filter because that's everywhere. But make sure this is crisp and this has some kind of cool, interesting effect to it. Okay. Watch the placement for things like the logo. They're doing this very well. There's space between where the logo is and the end of the page. See that nice amount of space? See how this is small and not yelling. It's just kind of one line tucked there. It's a long, small font size line. That's the correct way to go about doing this. Definitely don't use Comic Sans. That's one of those never ever go fonts. So really, really tiny. See more for less. The website, not this font. Make sure there's spacing between where your ad ends and where your logo is tucked here. I would also try to look for a better version. Like I would use this logo as opposed to this one because how it's white and it's cut so close to the logo, it's instantly making it look amateur as opposed to this, which looks professional with the amount of white space. And then it almost looks like they have a teeny, teeny, tiny bit of maybe an embed filter or something along the bottom and the side of it. Okay, so just kind of up the professionalism of this and that. Make sure you have that contrasting element. I would put this on the wall itself and then have a blank space around it. That's really going to help the ad be matching the original, and the original is very well designed, so you want to make sure they feel like they go together and they're both impactful. Okay, so those are some of the design choices I would recommend that you make. Thanks for opting in, Afton.